Happy Halloween, everybody! I haven't done a Halloween video in years. If you're familiar with the channel, you know it's been a long time. If you're new, welcome. Please like, subscribe. Um, and this is a new segment here we're debuting. This is welcome to the horror closet on this special Halloween inaugural edition here at Nightmare Video. Um, so I hope you dig it. This derives from my love for a particular um, YouTube channel and the way they do things. If you don't already get it from the title, it's of course most of us cinephiles love the Criterion collection, of course, right? Very curated label. And the cool thing is, I always love that they have supported the genre we love, the horror genre. Maybe not as much as I would like, but they definitely give props to the genre we love. So when I watch their their channel, Criterion, they have something called basically the Criterion Closet, where they'll have someone go in, a celebrity, whether it be an actor, director, musician, whatever, comedian. They go into the horror closet with all their Blu-rays and DVDs, and they go through and just kind of improv and pick out. They have a bag, and they pick out movies, talk about them. I really love watching that. It's super cool when they do. When someone does grab like a horror movie that we love, super cool. So, in my love for seeing that, and my love for my extra love when someone actually picks a horror film, I was like, why don't I do something like this here in Nightmare Video where I'm doing that, but it's all horror, of course. And big difference is I'm not a celebrity, I'm nobody. But I hope you guys like it. I thought it was cool if you guys watch those videos. I think I really enjoy watching them. So I was like, that'd be cool if every movie they picked was horror. So that was the inspiration to do this. And it's a way to maybe show you guys some of Nightmare Video, our collection space, without doing kind of just a generic, somewhat boring just room tour. So you'll be able to see some of it while I do this, and hopefully there's some films that maybe you're unaware of that will inspire you to get the physical release of it yourself. So please drop comments on your opinion of this video. Lighting's kind of, normally we have the lights off here in the store lighting, but it was a little too dark, so we'll definitely mess with lighting later on. So right now we have the house lights on. So give me feedback, and let's begin. Totally improv. I'm just going to walk through the collection room, randomly pick films just like they do in the Criterion Closet. So welcome to the first episode of In the Horror Closet. All right, I'm going to start right here. The better half is filming for us, so everyone say hi to Shelly. I'm just going to, again, this is so cool because it's just like we're shopping here. I got my bag to rent. Okay, I'm gonna just, I guess, get predictable right off the bat, kind of get a well-known one. If you know me, you know I love this film. Irreversible. This was definitely for me. I wouldn't say it was the first extreme horror film I saw. Definitely not. But it was an early introduction to that French new wave, right, of extremity. But for me, why this stands out, this kind of, I definitely over the years developed into someone who doesn't particularly like extreme horror films just for the sake of it. Like I'm all for provocation for sure, but I like it to be backed up with some meaning and some profundity. And this to me is like perfectly exemplifies that sentiment. Gasparino, of course, this just blew me away because it was, it was very potent film, of course. I'm sure most of you have seen it. The cinematography, the way it's, of course, it's shot in reverse, and essentially a rape film, but it goes in reverse. You kind of see it goes back to the beginning of the film. You kind of learn more about the characters, and ultimately, what I took from it is that you never know what's going to happen, what your fate's going to be. Live for the moment, appreciate the moment. We don't know what's around the corner. So just a brilliant film. I think it has one of the most creepiest, haunting scores, particularly that main, I guess, droning sound to me. That's terrifying. The music, especially with what, of course, goes with the filming. But yeah, just such a potent film. And again, this kind of developed my love of extremity, but extremity that has to have something behind it. To me, it resonates much more better that way, as opposed to say like a Marion Dora, some of his early work where it just feels like a 13-year-old did it. Anyway, so yeah, that was such a great release for such an extreme film. Of course, known for audio there as I put this mic on the back. Known for like the infamous 8-minute rape scene. I actually do watch this film maybe once a year. I know, makes me psycho. All right, I'm gonna stay right here actually. If you can see here, we kind of develop. We have a way of dividing our films with some of the labels that we really love. We keep together. Um, it's definitely our own way of organize our collection. This probably would be annoying if you were actually a customer. House of Terrors. This is an Asian film. Japanese film from the '60s. What I really like about this one is a great release by Mondo Macabro. It's always great to see black and white Asian horror. Of course, it just much like replicates much like future Asian films. Great cinematography. But this one's very influenced on Western cinema. Western meaning North American stuff. I don't mean the genre Western, but so it's very derivative of that of the American style, but done so with that Japanese way. And especially this one's pretty kind of mean spirited. Surprisingly, too, for me, because you kind of think you're seeing the '60s Gothic kind of somewhat haunted house film, and it's clear that it's inspired by American cinema. So when the final act happens and it gets kind of mean spirited, it actually kind of caught me off guard in a great way too. So highly recommend it if you've never seen this. If you love Gothic cinema with an Asian slant, super cool film. I love the ending of this film. It took me kind of by surprise how mean spirited it was. House of Terrors, great release by Mondo Macabro. I guess I didn't put it in my bag. Still getting used to this here, being in the horror closet. Gonna come over this way. I got some DVDs over here. Here we have we got Kino Lorber over here. We got Scream Factory. Look over here. We got Cauldron Films up here. I'm gonna. This is so cool. Just randomly picking a film. I'm gonna try to keep this quick, so you're just not watching me look for movies. Actually, I'm probably not supposed to do that, but go with Double Dare, cause Double Door, not Nickelodeon's Double Dare. Another. Oh, this is from 1934. If you know me, I love classic horror cinema from the '30s, and I think this is really underrated. I was so happy when Kino released this, not because I had seen it, but I had heard about it. Um, Great kind of early part of the old dark house kind of cinema where you have a group of people in a mansion or a castle, but in this case, just a very well off home. But essentially, you have this great character here. I don't know if you can see her face there. Essentially, a story where a newlywed couple, and the woman here is very disliked by the family here, the heir of a fortune, much like we actually watched Cat and the Canary last night. Great 4K edition of that by Kino, coincidentally. And so it has that kind of like conniving family members trying to get a hold of money, and they really dislike this. The newlywed wife here, and she might be a fiance. I can't remember if they had married at the time. Anyway, I think she's an aunt here, the older woman. Amazing performance, very evil looking. She's just fantastic. That's what really I think sets this apart from some other '30s films. Not that it's the case in every situation, but it's very character driven, and so you have the atmosphere um, that's typical of this era of horror film. But you also have great characters in this. The young woman here, the beautiful woman here, the fiance or wife, I forget. Very likable. You really feel for her, and the way things transpire, it's just awesome. So well written, character driven, great final act. Highly recommended. Underrated '30s film, Double Door. Not to be confused with Double Dare. Um, some maniac stuff here. We got my lovely child, called Lead Ghoulie. We're going to head over here where we have, again, we separate a lot of the labels that we have a lot of. You can see Vinegar Syndrome here, Severin. We got Arrow. Um, this is so fun. Again, give me feedback. Let me know if you enjoy this. In the horror closet here at Nightmare Video. I'm going to actually mix it up and go on a box set here, but I'm going to take, with it being the season, happy Halloween again, everybody. I hope you've had a great month. It always goes by too fast. I'm going to take one movie out of this. Are we allowed to do that, Nightmare Video? Can I just rent one movie? Okay. I don't have to rent the whole box set. That would be more expensive. You go with this. This is a requisite watch for me. The Child, 77. No, it's late '70s. Super. It's lower budget, but it's like otherworldly and cool thing that takes place during October. There's a Halloween scene in it. Very creepy pumpkin scene, right, Shelley? Such a cool jack o' lantern. I turned down the one right here by the VCR playing here. Atmospheric. There's like I think that it wasn't dubbed, but I think the audio was done in post, so it kind of has that almost like maybe some Italian films have that. You know what I mean? It has the dubbing which and combined with the atmosphere, it just gives it an odd otherworldly feel. Great atmospheric score. A lot of like wind noise. There's fog. There's a scarecrow. There's a cemetery. A fucked up kid. I mean, I love this film. There's kind of like these ghouls at the end of the film. I love this film so much. This is one of those films I should see like all over my, like on Instagram, my Instagram feed. I never see it. This is the absolute must for your October horror viewing collection. Let me know if you guys are fans of this one. It's part of the Arrow box set, one of their regional. What is that called again? Um, the American Horror Project. This was volume 2. So if you don't have this, you're wondering where it is. Highly recommended on the child must viewing for October. And again, I think it has one of the coolest like pumpkin scenes in a horror film. Got some box sets here. Elvira, nice to see you. Got some horror records here. So I'm gonna go. We'll do one more. I'll probably do 5 for all of these, maybe. So here's up here. We have kind of just A through Z, but it's not a particular label, so it's kind of like all the more random ones. And then let's pick a DVD to mix up because we do love DVD here. As you can see, we have a lot of DVDs. The majority of these DVDs don't have Blu-ray upgrades, so that's goes to show you that the DVD format is still very important. Um, this is so fun, so much to choose from, right? Um, okay, I already picked one. I haven't talked about this film in a while. Felt. Um, Indie horror film from a few years back. If you're new to the channel, I do an annual horror award show, which happens every January. You can go back in the live section of my channel here and watch the last couple. I do it every year, and we give the awards to great horror films. This was definitely, I think this was up for Best Picture several years back. That's how good it was. And it's about a young woman, I should say, who has experienced past sexual trauma, and she ends up finally getting back in the dating scene. She's a young artist, and she makes these cool like masks and like odd costumes. If you can see one there. The cool thing is that the actress in real life actually is an artist and makes these. So it gives that, much like his previous film, which is The Haunting Toad Road. It has lends it some very the realistic aspect of it lends it to be more even more creepy. So anyway, she finally starts dating this guy. Guy's really cool, but because of her past trauma and the point of how that can really scar you for the rest of your life, um, things don't go well. Let's put it that way. Amazing film, amazing unhinged performance by the lead actress, kind of misanthropic at times, but so good. Awesome. And if you're into indie horror, check out Felt. And I'm pretty sure this never got a Blu-ray upgrade because I feel like we would have it if it did. But highly recommended for indie cinema. So I'm going to grab that. It's been a while. It's been a few years since I watched it. All right. Pretty good for a debut, right? I didn't want to hold you guys too long. Again, I hope you've had a great October. Let me know your thoughts on this excuse me, new segment idea in the horror closet, because I always loved when in the Criterion closet they picked a horror film. I get all giddy, like they're going to talk about horror film. So now I get to do all horror films. So yeah, give me your feedback. Happy Halloween. We're gonna have a great day tomorrow, watching movies, right? And getting all fat and sassy. And we'll definitely be down here renting more films for the day. And we'll end with this awesome little Happy Halloween, everybody. Chars, stay safe, be kind to each other. We're out.